I don't know if you've ever noticed this, but a simple biscuit dipped into a cup of tea can teach us one of the most profound lessons life has to offer. It shows us, in the most ordinary way possible, that if you dip too deep into someone, if you invest too much of yourself into the wrong person, into the wrong situation, you will break. Not them, you. And that right there is why staying silent, knowing when to hold back, knowing when not to pour yourself out completely, is one of the most powerful things you can ever learn. Why is silence so necessary in life? Why is staying quiet so essential to understanding your own worth? Think about loose change versus a $100 bill. Coins are loud, they clank, they rattle, they make noise wherever they go. But a $100 bill, not a sound, completely silent, and yet worth so much more. That tells you everything you need to know. You don't need to be loud to be valuable. You don't need to make noise to prove your worth. Stay quiet, be patient, wait for the right moment, and time will answer for you in ways your words never could. Step 1. Self-respect is everything. One of the most valuable things in this entire world is self-respect. Very few things in life are worth more than it. So if someone, even once, tries to make you feel small, tries to belittle you, tries to diminish who you are, take note of that. Remember it, and quietly create some distance between yourself and that person. Because here is the truth. If you allow it, they will do it again and again and again. Forgive people. Yes, forgiveness is for you, not for them. But do not give them a second opportunity to hurt you. You can forgive someone completely and still choose not to hand them the knife again. And here's something else worth considering. Not everyone is meant to be close to you. Not everyone thinks the way you think. Not everyone values what you value. And that's okay. That's just life. But when someone's mindset is fundamentally different from yours, when your thinking simply doesn't align, arguments tend to multiply. Misunderstandings pile up, and no matter how clearly you explain yourself, they will not try to understand you. Here's the hard truth about that. If someone doesn't want to understand you, trying to explain yourself to them is a waste of your time and energy. It's not humility, it's not patience, it's just foolishness. As long as you have life, try to live it on your own terms, your own way. Remember this, until the morning comes, even the flower in the garden doesn't know if it will end up in a temple or at a grave. Life decides that. What you decide is how fully you bloom regardless. Step 2. Some people will never see your worth. The further you go in life, the more clearly you will understand this. No matter how good you are, no matter how much you give, no matter how much you sacrifice for others, no matter how much pain you absorb with a smile, some people will simply never see your worth. Some people's hearts will never make room for you. And you know what the real reason is? You're not money. If you were money, everyone would treat you carefully. Everyone would make space for you. Everyone would suddenly understand your value. That's a hard truth, but it is the truth. So the best thing you can do, the most powerful thing you can do, is to focus on living your own life, your own way. Be careful not to hurt yourself while trying to keep everyone else happy. The people who matter will see your value without needing to be convinced. And believe this, the harder the times that come your way, the more clearly you will see people for who they truly are. You can't truly know someone until the water gets rough, just like you can't learn to swim by reading about it. You can't learn to read people until life tests you. Hard times are not your enemies. They are your teachers. The most important lessons of your life will come dressed in difficulty. Step 3. Small mistakes can sink. Great ships, be careful about the small mistakes. Pay attention to the little things, because a small hole, just one tiny crack, is enough to sink an enormous ship. Think about that. A vessel built from steel, designed to cross the greatest oceans on Earth. And yet one small, unattended opening, slowly letting in water, is enough to bring the whole thing down. That ship is you. And here's what makes that analogy even more powerful. A ship does not sink because it's surrounded by water. It sinks because it lets the water inside. You are surrounded by negativity every single day. Criticism, doubt, people who don't believe in you, people who want to see you fail. That's just the ocean. And you can't drain the ocean, but you can control what you let inside. The moment you allow other people's negative words, their doubts, their fears, their limitations, to take root inside your mind, that is the moment you start to sink. And those people who tell you that you'll never make it, that you're not capable, that people like you have tried and failed before, I'll tell you exactly what they're afraid of. They're afraid that you might actually succeed. They're afraid of what your success says about their own choices. They're afraid that you might rise and prove them wrong. So they try to plant fear in your mind before your dreams have a chance to grow. Don't let them in. Keep the negativity outside. You are the ship. You control the door. Step 4. Focus on your strengths, not your weaknesses. Never go around showing people your weaknesses. Never make your vulnerabilities public. Here's the reality. Half the people you tell won't care, and the other half will either laugh or use it against you. When your creator has kept your weaknesses hidden from the world, do yourself a favor and keep them hidden too. And more than that, stop highlighting your weaknesses even to yourself. Because here's what happens when you stare too long at everything you lack. Your strengths start to blur, your capabilities start to feel small, your self-doubt starts to grow. And suddenly you're not seeing yourself clearly anymore. You're just seeing the gap between where you are and where you think you should be. Look at your strengths instead. You were not created weak. You were not sent into this world without ability. You were given gifts, real, genuine, powerful gifts that are unique to you. Your job is to find them, develop them, trust them, work on your character. Because at a certain point in life, everyone starts to realize that building your inner self matters more than decorating your outer self. Physical beauty fades. Everyone's does, with time. But a person of strong character, they get talked about long after they're gone. Not for how they looked, for who they were, for how they made people feel, for the way they carried themselves when things got hard. Real beauty is a remarkable mind, a generous heart, an unbreakable spirit, and that kind of beauty only grows with time. Step 5. Get off the wrong train. Here's one of the most practical pieces of wisdom I can share with you today. If you ever find yourself on the wrong train, get off at the next stop. Don't wait until the end of the line hoping the destination will somehow be different. The longer you stay on the wrong train, the longer the journey back to where you actually want to be. And I'm not just talking about trains. I'm talking about the wrong relationship, the wrong career, the wrong circle of people, the wrong direction that you chose years ago and have known for a while wasn't right, but kept going because getting off felt too uncomfortable. It's okay to get off. It's not failure. It's not weakness. It's wisdom. Because here is the reality of life. Life is not a candle, yet it still goes out. The heart is not a mirror, yet it still breaks. Dreams are not birds, yet they still fly away. And people are not weather, yet they still change with time. To truly be well in life, you need to increase your distance from certain kinds of people. First, the ones who are too busy for you. They only speak when it's convenient for them. Second, the selfish ones. They only reach out when they need something. Stay a little further from both and protect your peace like it's irreplaceable, because it is. Step 6. At the end of the day, you find yourself. Here's a truth that might be uncomfortable to sit with. At the end of the day, when you go looking for the people who are truly yours, the first person you find will be yourself. Because no one is more truly yours than you are. Believe this, sometimes even the people closest to us, the ones we love most, are the very ones who make it hardest for us to be okay. Not always out of cruelty, but out of their own wounds, their own fears, their own limitations. Life brings many kinds of pain: financial pain, physical pain, mental pain, family pain, social pain. There's no shortage of ways the world can hurt you. But in all of those moments, what is the right response? Patience, not passive waiting, not giving up, not breaking down. Real patience, active patience, the kind that says, I'm going to stay grounded, I'm going to keep going, I'm going to trust that this season has an expiration date. Step 7. What? Patience actually means, let me be very clear about what patience is, because most people misunderstand it completely. If someone insults you and you insult them back twice as hard, is that patience? If someone hits you and you hit them back 4 times, is that patience? If someone posts something negative about you and you respond with 3 posts attacking them, is that patience? If financial hardship comes and you forget everything you believe in, is that patience? No, none of that is patience. Real patience is when you absorb the hit and choose your response wisely, when you feel the pain and don't let it turn you into someone you don't want to be, when you're in the middle of your hardest season and you still choose to trust that it won't last forever. Here's what I know about patience. There is a peace inside of it that nothing else can offer. When you speak less, you create fewer enemies. When you speak less, you make fewer mistakes. When you speak less, you start to master the process of restraint. And that restraint, that is where real power lives. The person who can control their tongue in the heat of the moment controls the moment. The person who can stay calm when everyone around them is reacting controls the room. Not every situation deserves your reaction. Not every person deserves a response. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. Step 8. The closest people can hurt the most. Here's something most of us know deeply but rarely talk about openly. The pain that comes from strangers, it stings, but it fades. The pain that comes from people close to you, from family, from friends, from the ones you trusted most, that cuts differently, that stays longer. And the reason is simple. We expect more from the people we love. Our hopes are higher. Our guard is lower. So when they hurt us, the fall is further. But understanding this gives you a tool. If you lower your expectations of others, not in a cynical way, not in a bitter way, but in a realistic way, you protect yourself. You stop setting up situations where disappointment is almost guaranteed. Put more of your trust in yourself. Depend more on your own effort, your own judgment, your own resilience. Because here is the most positive thing about trusting yourself above all else. You will never deceive yourself. Deep down, you always know the truth, and that foundation, that internal honesty, is something no one can take from you. Section 9. Don't give anyone the opportunity to hurt you. Think about this carefully. If someone keeps disrespecting you, who is actually responsible for that? In many cases, we are. Because we kept giving them access. We kept giving them chances. We kept opening the door, and then wondering why they kept walking through it. Don't give people the opportunity to hurt you. Not out of bitterness, not out of coldness, but out of self-respect. You teach people how to treat you through what you allow, what you overlook, and what you refuse to accept. And here's a question worth sitting with. Is success just getting what you want? I don't think so. Real success, in the deepest sense of the word, is being okay, being genuinely well, having peace. Being able to wake up each morning with a sense that your life means something, and you will only reach that kind of success when you develop the habits that lead to it. When you learn to be patient, when you learn to protect your peace, when you stop letting other people write the story of your life. Step 10. Mental strength is your real power. Everyone talks about physical strength, and yes, it matters. But the strength that will carry you through the hardest seasons of Your life is not physical, it's mental. Mental strength is what gets you out of bed when you have every reason to stay down. It's what allows you to smile on the outside when you're fighting a battle on the inside. It's what keeps you building, quietly, consistently, even when no one is watching and no one is clapping. And the foundation of real mental strength is patience. When the situation gets harder, more patience. When things spiral further out of control, more patience. When the road gets darker, more patience. Our real problem, the one that holds most of us back, is that we break too easily. We give in too quickly. We reach for escape routes the moment things get uncomfortable. We let our minds go dark before we've given the light a real chance to come back. But here's the truth. If breaking down solved problems, everyone would do it, and the world would be fixed. It doesn't. It never has. The real solution, the one that actually works, is endurance, is patience, is the quiet, steady, unshakable decision to keep going. In every negative situation, there is something positive buried inside it. Your job is to find it, to look for it, to refuse to leave until you've found it. Because here's what every hard season in your life is trying to tell you. Ease comes after difficulty. Peace follows patience. The morning always comes, no matter how long the night feels. Step 11. Money makes life easier. It doesn't make you happy. Let me address one of the biggest lies that our culture keeps telling us, that money equals happiness. Money matters. I'm not going to pretend it doesn't. It creates options. It removes certain stresses. It opens certain doors. But it cannot give you peace. It cannot make you feel genuinely loved. It cannot fix a broken sense of self-worth. It cannot purchase patience or joy or meaning. I have seen people with almost nothing, genuinely happy, sleeping soundly, waking up grateful, finding beauty in the smallest things. And I have seen people with more wealth than they could ever spend, anxious, isolated, deeply unsatisfied, unable to trust anyone around them. The difference was never in their bank account. The difference was in how they chose to think, in what they chose to value, in whether or not they had learned the quiet, powerful practice of being content with what they had, while still working toward more. People who have very little, they often know something that wealthy people forget. They know how to be happy with small things, how to find joy without needing much, how to be grateful even when the circumstances don't demand it. And that gratitude, that simple daily practice of finding something worth appreciating, is what actually generates peace of mind. Don't confuse a comfortable life with a happy one. Money can give you comfort, but happiness, real happiness, that comes from the inside. Being well is a habit. Practice it, cultivate it, choose it today in the life you already have. So let me bring everything home. We started with a biscuit and a cup of tea, and the lesson that dipping too deep breaks you. We talked about coins and $100 bills, and why real value doesn't need to make noise. We talked about small holes and great ships, and why what you let inside matters more than what surrounds you. We talked about patience, not as passive waiting, but as the most active, most powerful, most difficult choice a human being can make. And now, here at the end, I want to leave you with this. Life is going to be hard. Not sometimes, not occasionally, consistently, genuinely, sometimes unbearably hard. And in those moments, the world will try to convince you that the answer is to react, to fight back, to prove yourself, to be louder, to be more visible, to perform your pain for an audience that's mostly not paying attention anyway. Don't fall for it. The most powerful thing you can do, in conflict, in struggle, in failure, in the quiet moments when no one is watching, is to stay grounded, stay patient, stay silent in the right moments, and stay committed to building something real, even when the results are nowhere in sight, because silence is not giving up. Silence is a strategy. Patience is not weakness. Patience is the highest form of strength. And choosing to protect your peace, to protect your character, your self-respect, your mental health, in a world that will constantly try to take those things from you. That is the most courageous act of all. You were not created to be broken by circumstance. You were not created to be defined by what others say about you. You were not created to spend your one life performing for people who don't even know your real story. You were created to grow quietly, consistently, with patience, with character, with the kind of unshakable inner peace that the world cannot give and cannot take away. Move in silence. Let your life do the talking, and trust that everything you've been patiently building, in the dark, without applause, without validation, will one day speak louder than anything you could have ever said. That is the power of silence.